You didn't?
It is the job of us adults to prepare our kids to get out in the world, overcome obstacles, and to climb those mountains. My next guests, well, they take that job literally. Their adventures help inspire parents to do the same for their own kids, as well as raise money to help foster kids find forever families. It's time to meet this week's Puck's Heroes. Please welcome Joe Baker and his 7-year-old son, Sam. Welcome, guys.
We're excited to be here.
Joe, first of all, tell us about your family and these adventures you guys do.
It's so hard. I don't want to be like making it harder.
When we started having children, we just began to bring them up into it. So in our house, it goes crawl, walk, and then rock climb.
Joe, I mean, every parent in America right now is looking at you and saying, is this safe?
It's got a green and blue.
It's a great question. It's as safe as it can be.
That doesn't comfort me much.
You okay? Are you clipped in?
Yeah, all right, he's good. All right, he's off.
Oh my gosh.
As a child, Joe was incredibly adventurous. At 18 months, he climbed on top of the refrigerator and got in that cabinet that is behind it. He would tie ropes around everything, like whole stairways all the way down and around were all roped up. For the most part, I allowed him to be very adventurous.
That was not possible.
Joe is very visionary. He's very much an optimist. He's got like the big idea and I've got all the details. I think if we were both too much the same in one area, like life would just be boring.
Joe has such a fearless life, believing that the things he does are safe and that he can do them.
Ready, set, go.
Sammy Baker, my firstborn, he has been either at 100% or sleeping. Sammy's definitely got a mind that is pretty stubborn, like his parents. Driven for sure, and like knows what he wants. He has got a lot of determination. He's bossy. He wants his way. He does have the potential to, be a good climber. We need to take it from naturally a little kid to a confident, more mature, experienced climber.
I'll try to.
He can be stubborn and want his way. That's hard in general. That's hard in normal life, let alone when you're training for a big wall, and let alone being on the big wall.
Sammy, you don't come down that quick. You gotta try it, buddy.
But he's just very active, very curious, very athletic as he's grown up.
You can too, just swing over.
So I think he has the capacity to endure a lot. He has the capacity to be self-motivated. Just with time, I think he needs to mature that and grow into that a little.
We did it!
When Sam was 4 years old, we really started I started talking about the concept of developing him to climb El Capitan and to be the youngest to do it. I'd never seen anybody rock climb with a 2, 3, 4-year-old before.
Hey, Mommy, are we gonna go to the sand dunes?
So there's a couple of places we could go. Here's the turret dome. And so we had no idea how to do that, but we just started figuring it out. He would have been like 1 or 2 years old when we had him in a harness and had him at the gym, just slowly bringing him into the sport. Rock climbing is just like part of our life. It's like who we are and what we do. So as a family, we would just invite them in to come to these cool places, like let's go to Zion National Park and let's, hike the Narrows with our boys. That was very normal.
Sammy's been on top of every one of these.
To get to the final goal of El Capitan, there's so many things Sam has to learn and grow in. A big piece of it is just daily climbing. Really about 6 days a week, we go to the rock gym. We're developing him there, but really there's a lot of other pieces that are psychological You know, it's endurance. It's also a suffering, you know, which is a big piece. There's so many steps in play to get there. Pretty sure he's gonna be ready.
Okay, he's coming.
When Joe kind of told me the premise of the whole project, that he was going to take his 7-year-old boy up on these walls, I was a little shocked. Mostly just a little concerned that, you know, things could go efficiently enough and that the kid would be able to kind of like suffer the way that is necessary to climb a wall of that size. At the same time, I didn't know them, so I didn't want to just assume they couldn't do it. But, you know, it's a serious place to be no matter who you are. You know, accidents happen on easy climbs, so it's not something to ever take lightly.
When Sam was just 4, we climbed our first multi-pitch, one of the 1,000-foot Flatirons in Boulder. Then, when he turned 5, we climbed the nose of Mount Albert. It was soon after that I thought he was ready, and I took him up Pangora in the Cirque of the Towers of Wyoming. Then, at 6, we unconventionally climbed and camped on Lost Arrow Spire in Yosemite Valley. And after that, I thought he was ready to do some big climbing, and so we did all 5 of the 1,000-foot Flatirons in Colorado. All of this was in preparation for the next big wall. The next big wall will encompass some serious suffering for Sam.
Hey, man. All right.
There was apparently a 6.0 earthquake a little bit of ways just south of Lake Tahoe. Andrew and I were coming down the gully, and we both like stopped in our tracks and we were like, was that an earthquake? And then we heard some rock fall, and we exited the stage left. And then he called, and he was like, hey, did you guys feel that? And I was like, confirmed. It was an earthquake.
Wow.
So
We were hiking down the descent of the route in a huge boulder field, and all the boulders started shaking. I thought I just stepped on a loose one. There's rock fall behind us, and then we realized we were in an earthquake. Okay, which rock do we duck under so we don't get hit by rock fall?
I think you said that was earthquake 29 in the last 30 days, right?
yep, welcome to California.
Wow.
So the weather for today jumped up about 6 degrees from where it was yesterday. So we're at 110 today, 111 tomorrow, 109 Monday, 107 Tuesday.
I can't believe that.
Yeah, I got a text that was saying there's potential for temperatures to be 110, even 115 degrees in the valley. If you're not in the shade 100% of the time, there's a pretty serious risk of there being an accident.
My job was to haul everything up. Get all the gear, all the water, all the food, as much stuff as possible. So we had about 160 pounds worth of water that we had to get up to the top, not including portal edges, ropes, and all the other water just for them to survive.
I want to give you guys a little update on what's happening up on top. It took them 5 hours to get to the top, and they ended up having to use some of the water because they ran out of water.
The other thing we're experiencing right now is the cameras are overheating, shutting off.
Really?
Yeah, we're experiencing it right now.
I think the other suggested option is currently it's 76 in Tuolumne. We're at 100 degrees until next Saturday.
Yeah.
With this forecast.
So it's
So we've got 10 more days of 100-degree weather in the valley.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Tuolumne, I checked the forecast last night. As the week goes on, it gets down to like 65.
Yeah. If you want to do a bigger production, I think Fairview Dome would be a good option. It would look cool, it would be really exposed. You could camp on it. Really classic route.
Yeah, especially the upper pitches where you're going to have tons of exposure.
Oh yeah.
So
if you
a
look at
lot
Mountain Project, there's like it says like most exposed 5-0 ever. It's just this
Yeah.
picture of like, whoa, that's 5-0.
Yeah. So
There's this famous book called The 50 Classic Climbs of North America. It was written by Alan Steck and Steve Roper in 1979. After climbing a whole bunch of routes all over the place, sort of compiled this list of what they considered to be the best. We discovered that there was one up here in Tuolumne.
I think we should plan for Fairview, do it well, do it right, and then we get extra time. Awesome. We'll run up Cathedral, and maybe it'll give us some time to practice some like efficiency and speed climbing tactics that Sam will have some fun with.
awesome.
And this list has kind of become sort of mythical as this amazing tick list of the best routes in North America. Fairview Dome is, from what I understand, the largest dome in Tuolumne. It's about 1,200 feet. Plan is to climb up the steeper section of the wall, camp overnight midway up there, and finish up on the slabbier terrain the next morning. Overall, it sounds like a pretty awesome plan.
Last update at 22:28, which was 5 minutes ago. It's 4,000 acres burned, 5% contained.
CAL FIRE says only 5% of this fire is contained. The fast-moving wildfire sparked Sunday afternoon west of Yosemite National Park.
That plane. Oh, he's going right through it. Yeah.
It's a wind-driven, slope-driven, fuel-driven fire.
The evacuation orders right there, and then there's active power outages all right here.
The area where the creek fire burning in Fresno County has now burned over 212,000 acres. That's almost 12,000 acres.
Hey dude, I don't know if you got the GroupMe message or not, but there's an active fire just about 8 miles away from us.
So we're over there. Do you think we should come back and start packing up our stuff?
Yeah, I'll keep you guys updated. The wind is blowing towards us.
Holy cow. Wow, okay. I guess we'll pack up our stuff and we'll meet you guys in Tuolumne.
All right, dude. We'll see ya. So,
We'll see you tomorrow when we drive in. It's gonna be pretty sunrise.
I'm tired of these audibles. I'm tired of playing with audibles.
And his 7-year-old son, Sam. Welcome, guys. Sam, what is your favorite part about rock climbing?
When you get to the top, everything's so tight, like my train set, and to get to fly a kite with your dad.
That's pretty cool, huh?
Alrighty, Sammy, we are finally here. I think I'm ready. Are you ready?
Yep, I am. We're sort like two,
Next climbing!
Told me a story too good to grow old. Wide open space, joy in my heart, in the gardens of
hello.
Place I don't know.
Do it again, give me a good one. There we go.
I want to say something.
Get it right on 3.
I want to say something.
All right, I'll get you a block.
Place I don't know, but I knew before. In the cool of the day, where can I scale over angels in flame, burned in my mind, and there's nowhere to rest for them.
There you go, bud.
You want to know all the stuff that was
Day 1, we climbed, I think about 7 or 8 pitches up Fairview.
There were several occasions on the climb where Sam just kind of mentally lost it and sort of had a meltdown there. And just frequently kept saying, I can't do it, I can't, yelling at Joe. Joe would push him.
Best thing you've ever done lately.
He would say, yes, you can, you've done harder things. Eventually, he would just pull on a piece of gear, or I would kind of yank him up the rope, and then he would suddenly feel better and say, oh, this is easy.
Daddy, I can't do it.
somebody trying to rescue us, Sam, because you're screaming. You can't scream like that on the mountains, I tell you every time.
I was screaming that loud.
You were.
This wall, I can't get. Don't do anything.
All right, Sammy.
Nothing.
Come here. Snuggle up. We talked about what an adventure is, remember? So there's another kind of adventure, too. There's an epic adventure. And an epic adventure really, really tests us. So me and your mom were in the Wind Rivers of Wyoming, and I went with a bunch of people, and she decided to climb Wolf's Head with us. And we got all the way to the top, and I lost my way. I couldn't figure out how to cross this one section. And so it got dark, and I said, let's just sleep let's just lay under the summit block. And there's like kind of a little crack in the wall. We all got in. And then it was really, really cold. What we discovered was there was a huge piece of ice right below us, just making us so cold. And we didn't know that till the morning. And all night we just shivered all night. And you know what we did? We told each other stories, we sang songs, and we fell in love. And it was that night that I said, man, I think I could marry this girl. And that was 5 years before I married her. And then it was 4 years after I married her that we had you. And when you came, buddy, I loved you so much that I thought of you and I said, this is my boy that I'm gonna go on adventures with.
You didn't.
Yep.
No.
And did you know who you were named after? Have you ever heard of a guy named Sir Samuel Baker? Sir Samuel Baker. Should I show people how high we are while we're making this?
Yeah.
All right, let's look over. Don't tip that. Whoa! Yeehaw!
Yeah.
Sam, how did yesterday go?
Good.
What was your favorite part?
I
Honey, we love you so much.
know. We are the
And we also love Ember. Typically, no one would put a portal edge on Fairview Dome. It's just not the norm. But when you're climbing with a 7-year-old and you're trying to introduce him to this bigger sport of wall climbing and also break up the day a little bit, it just made sense that we would do that. And it made the whole thing just so much more fun.
Woo! Whoa, the doctor.
Then in the morning we get up, cook breakfast on those, and then we blast up another, I think it was another 5 or 6 more pitches to the top. Climbing! Some of the things that I think we really gained on the last trip was just our trust for each other, for his trust for me, for him seeing that, like, I'm gonna take care of him, that he's gonna be okay. He just has to listen to me. And when we're on these big walls, it's like he's just as clipped in 100 feet off the ground as he is, 2,000 feet off the ground. The other thing he had to learn to do Fairview was rock climbing. Like, we didn't climb that on Jumars. It was him climbing the wall, one handhold at a time. Sometimes jamming his hand in, sometimes jamming his foot in. Every once in a while, I held his foot, or Sam hangs on the rope too. He actually loves kind of swinging from the ropes. I saw him really develop a bit more patience than he's ever had before, and just his ability to tolerate pain. And it's like when you're able to have fun and have a good spirit, when you're kind of in that miserable place, that is what we want to cultivate in the character of our kids.
Hello? How did you get up? How do you think I got up here? I love you. Can I have a kiss? Thank you.
Hey, Daddy!
so much still to learn to be able to do El Capitan. In fact, this trip has tested me, and I wonder if I'm gonna be ready. I don't know if I'm gonna be ready. I literally need to start tomorrow. It will be like doing the impossible. You know, there's no joke about it. There's no one else doing this.
No. It doesn't come out.
One of them was carrying the.
That is a good thing.
One of them was carrying.
Lemonade, sweet tea.
All right, so I like to give Sam gifts whenever we do big climbs, and this one is actually for Sam and Sylvan, because you were so good while Sam was up there. Okay, and you guys are gonna play with this awesome thing. Yeah! Okay, you ready to look at it and open it up?
Yeah.
Here we go. Oh. Look at that boat.
Wow. Look at that. That's pretty cool, actually. That's pretty cool.
What is this thing?
I actually had to use them.
I just realized this when you were unpacking it. You have to know. The box says 8 plus. So that means I'm the only one who's going to be allowed to drive it.
No.
I think that's what it means.
No.